My name is Liz Lewis. I'm a member of the Bishop Paiute Tribe in the Owens Valley. It's eastern side of California, kind of central California for most people who don't know. You go through Yosemite and you end up there, the Owens Valley. But my mom came to the Humboldt County area when I was young. When I was 8 months old, she went to Humboldt State. So it brought me up to the North Coast here. And from a young age, this has always been like my home. My younger brother is Yurok. He was born here, so very immersed in this culture, in this type of cuisine, working with this kind of food. So today we are gonna make a fish head soup using salmon that was caught just a couple of days ago. We're gonna utilize that. We're gonna talk a little bit about ancestral diet, using the whole animal. And so this is gonna really flavor the broth. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook the fish and the bones first before we add any veggies or anything else, and we're gonna cook that down for a little bit. So I have some water over here that I already pre-boiled. Ideally, you would want to boil your fish bones for a few hours if you had the time. And most of us are working. Most of us don't have the time to be able to boil for a few hours. So today I'm gonna do about 30 minutes, and that's still gonna extract a lot of that nutrients and a lot of that flavor. Some of the friends I've made over the years that do live in Klamath. I grew up in Klamath on Requa, where my little brother and his family are from. And there's a lot of young men that go fishing. They're avid fishermen up there, and I really depend on them to be able to have traditional foods like this, because I don't have anyone locally that I can get that from. So them being able to gift that to people in the community is really important, and they know that they give a lot to elders. Just add those napes in, and this is good. I'm gonna now cut these bellies just into chunks here. Nothing too small, because it will break down just a little bit when I go to boil it, and I don't want it to disintegrate into nothing. One reason it's good to use the whole part of the animal, not just because it's a traditional practice that we've always done, but it's a way to honor the animal. We got our onions in here, we have our celery. She's getting most of our garlic. That's gonna be like, they call it the aromatics. They're the flavor base. These peppers came from the Potawot Community Food Garden. So I'm gonna use probably just a couple to flavor our whole pot of soup. So I'm gonna do long strips and then a fine dice here. Tribal food sovereignty is, what does that actually mean? It's when tribal people are actually trying to provide their food on their own, creating their own systems to have healthy food themselves. When colonization came and our land was taken and we were put on reservations, we couldn't go and harvest a lot as easier as we used to. We were thrown on reservations and given commodity foods from the government, foods we had never been exposed to before. And with that came a lot of disease and illness. And so part of food sovereignty is getting that health back, getting that food back that ancestrally we used to eat. You can see some of the cartilage and things breaking down, the skin coming off of the head here. So sweet potatoes are really good. If you can use a sweet potato over a russet potato, that's probably best. They contain a lot of vitamin A, just like carrots have vitamin A. So the orange color is a sign of that. Things that are certain colors will contain other nutrients. My grandpa, his parents, they completely hunted off the land. That's how they lived, that's how they ate. With Paiute country, for us, it was jackrabbits, other fish in the rivers, and pine nuts were a huge staple. Completely living off the land, you know, 3 generations ago. cycle it down to us, what we're exposed to. You know, maybe we grew up in poverty when we were younger, you know, living off of the welfare system when we had to at times. You know, we're exposed to processed foods, we're exposed to all of these things that our bodies genetically were never disposed to. Nice and slow, don't want to scald yourself. So we're adding our aromatics. This is the white scallion, the hot peppers, the garlic, the celery, and the white onion. My favorite part of the head are the cheeks. So here's the eye here. The cheek fell out. Here's the savored precious cheek. This is the absolute favorite piece on, besides salmon belly, that's my favorite. Has been since I was a little girl. So I would either save this for the chef or save it for an elder. Elders who have eaten all of the fish love the cheeks as well. There we go. Here's the head here. Oh, look. And, you know, through the traumatic history that Native people have gone through, a big part is our loss of identity. And a great way to be reconnected with your culture and with your identity is through food. You know, not everyone may be able to do all the practices we once did, but food is an excellent way to be reconnected again with your culture. These are gonna take a little bit longer than the zucchini. Add some of this curry paste. Coconut milk is used a lot in Thai cooking along with curry. Next, we're putting in all this garden fresh zucchini here. My earliest memories of cooking was when I was a little girl. My uncle, he was like a father to me. He loved to cook. So he always had me trying new things. When you're a little kid, you're like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. He would always have me, you don't know until you try it. And he was a very good cook. So he had me in the kitchen from when I was a little girl. And also my mom, she's always been a great cook our whole lives. And she's a very innovative cook. Growing up, especially when we were young, she was a single mom with 3 kids. Trying to be a full-time student at the local university. You know, we didn't have a lot of money, so she would be able to make things out of just whatever you could find in your kitchen at that time. So that also helped me to be a little more innovative in my cooking growing up. So just some advice for someone, like if they don't have a lot of experience cooking or they're a little bit intimidated by cooking, there's a lot of very simple recipes out there. And, you know, being able to ask around and ask people, even just helping to cook. Say you have a friend, they have a big family, the mom's busy in the kitchen, ask to help out. That's a great tool. It's a big pot here. It's feed a lot of people. Share a lot of love and health. Utilizing recipes is very, very easy these days. You can go online, research anything that's in season. Say you get, you know, kale or you get cabbage and you have no idea what to do with it. You can look up online for seasonal cooking, and there's simple recipes. You don't have to go out and buy all these fancy ingredients. But yeah, I would say just jumping in the kitchen anytime you can. Community events, they always need help in the kitchen. You feel inexperienced, don't be like, oh, I can't help, you know, I'm not a good cook or anything like that. Many hands make light help, so that's a good place to start as well.